So, we were told that the digital world was freedom, unlimited duplication, instant access to everything, infinite distribution, no degradation, no cost per copy, no physical limits. And for a while that did sound like progress. But something disappeared when everything became infinitely copyable. The weight, the mystery, the feeling that this thing exists in a way that can't be replicated. So now the smartest artists in music are doing something that sounds completely backwards. They're returning to physical media, master tapes, limited vinyl pressings, numbered editions, exclusive artifacts. Not because they're nostalgic, because the future became too easy to steal. Because real physical engineered scarcity is one of the most powerful tools in the immortality playbook. So streaming solved the distribution problem and created a different problem. 46.8 million vinyl records sold in the United States in 2025. That's the RIAA's year-end number, up 9% from 2024. And the 19th consecutive year vinyl sales have grown. So the format crossed $1 billion in US revenue for the first time since 1983. Now, read that carefully. In a world where every song ever recorded is available on demand for $10 a month, people are also buying 47 million pieces of physical media. That's not nostalgia, that's a market signal. So what streaming solved, which is access, it also flattened. Every album now lives besides 10 million others in the exact same interface. The same buttons, the same playlists, the same compression algorithm normalizing the volume of every single track, same 30-second skip rate if the hook doesn't hit. Music became frictionless. Frictionless things really feel it becomes infinitely ignorable. The algorithm feeds you more because you processed what you just heard. There's no relationship between you and the music because there's no cost to the encounter of that music. You didn't have to go anywhere, pay anything, or decide anything to have it. Artists who figured this out first stopped competing on access and started competing on weight. Analog encryption is not a technology, it's a philosophy of controlled access. A vinyl pressing can be numbered. A tape can degrade in a way that makes each generation of a copy slightly different from their original. A limited run of 500 copies creates genuine scarcity. The artifact can't be replicated into abundance the way a digital file can. And here's what scarcity does for value that abundance can't. It creates a relationship between the fan and the object that changes the emotional weight of the music inside it. Anybody can duplicate an MP3. Not everybody can hold the original artifact. That asymmetry matters. When you own the physical pressing of a record, you own something that cannot be perfectly reproduced. You own the specific weight of that particular disc, the slight surface noise of that particular pressing, the physical evidence that this recording was turned into an object, and that object came to you. The music isn't just data that you're accessing, it's a thing you possess. So the variant strategy works on the same logic. Taylor Swift's Life of Copies in 2025, the top-selling vinyl album of the year, released across 8 different editions, including exclusive retailer variants, not because the music is different in each one, because each variant is a distinct artifact with its own scarcity. And collectors buy multiple versions of the same album, not for the audio content, but for the physical object. So that's pillar 3 of the immortality framework, which is scarcity engineering, executed at a market scale that proves that principle. So here's something most people in this space are sleeping on. R&B and hip-hop vinyl sales were up 26% at mid-year 2025 compared to the same period in 2024. That's the fastest growing genre in the physical format. Faster than rock, faster than country, faster than pop. That growth is coming from an audience that's still discovering the format. The buyers who would buy hip-hop and R&B vinyl are actively looking for it and not finding enough of it. Hip-hop's vinyl catalog is thin relative to its dominance in streaming. Hip-hop accounts for 40% of top 200 streaming artists, but a small fraction of physical release volume. That's a structural opportunity. When Kendrick Lamar released GNX in November 2024, it sold over 27,000 vinyl copies in its first week, equivalent units, on a surprise drop with no physical marketing campaign, no vinyl pre-order, no retailer coordination. It just existed and people bought it. The demand is there. The supply isn't keeping up with it because hip-hop's major label infrastructure was built for streaming, not physical. For independent artists in the space, a limited vinyl run of 500 numbered copies, priced correctly, sells out to a core audience that will carry those 500 copies as artifacts for years. The scarcity is real, the emotional weight is real, and the revenue per unit from a direct-to-fan physical sale is dramatically higher than the fractional royalty on a stream. Bridgeport always understood physical proof, in a city built because you can hold what it made. So let's talk about Paul Lika. He pressed Nah Nah, Hey Hey, Kiss and Goodbye. Beast above a 5 and dime store on Main Street. That physical artifact, holding Bridgeport labor. That specificity of origin doesn't survive a digital file. When the music became infinitely copyable, that connection to origin got erased, and the song became placeless. Its Bridgeport origin became trivia instead of essence. The return to physical isn't just nostalgia for a pre-digital era, it's a philosophical argument about what art is that was made in a specific place by specific people, and that carries evidence of that origin in its physical form. The dark CT sound late night, only as a streaming file, some of that evidence of origin gets compressed away. When it lives on it's part of the argument that Bridgeport has always been building something worth taking seriously. So the easiest thing to copy is usually the least valuable thing. That's the lesson the streaming era is still teaching. The future of music may not be about making everything more accessible. It may be about making certain things worth protecting again. Artifacts that carry origin. Objects that can't be replicated into abundance. Would you rather own the file or the artifact? Put file or artifact in the comments. Let me know. And tell me, do you think physical music is a trend or a permanent part of how culture gets preserved? I'm Kai from Bridgeport. This is the Immortal Blueprint. I will see you next time. Artists out there, start selling physically. Get out.